all the things that they're right, without you, we could have a conversation. And so, I mean, thank you for this idea, and I would be possible. For, I appreciate your wisdom, understanding, and not with understanding. I appreciate your understanding as well. I appreciate when audience, you're not even on about. That's what you know. I pray for the president, governor, all these officials, I pray for legislators as well. I just pray for you, I pray for you, I pray for first responders. Thank you for this, I thought I pray for unity. I pray us to come together as one country, as one people. Look at them, let us be a voice for the Father. And Father, I pray for everything in the year, in the mind. You got all the praise and you get it.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you,
Mr. Dexter Armstead.
Present.
Mrs. Kristen Chastain here. Mr. Michael Cheatham.
Here.
Mr. Kyle Flanagan.
Here.
Mr. Jason McCray.
Present.
Mr. Keith Mills.
Here.
Mr. Richard Oliver.
Here.
Dr. Chrissy Oakham. Here. President Louis Kent.
Here. Is one of the two, one of the two initiatives. Requested that the council, while preparing a meeting for home, 17 years ago, Mr. George Green. Approved payment to Broadway in the amount of $13,000 to give out application of bill and confirmation of CBS. That's the work on the court.
I make a motion, we accept the two additions. Second.
Any discussion? Question from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. On hold with documents from July 2024 regular meeting.
So moved.
On the document.
I second.
Second, Mr. Williams. Any discussion? Question from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we're going to discuss take action on final enforcement system and that we get a daily review from good legislation. Discuss take action on catering service request from central employees from local, state, and federal government. Dr. Queen, Mr. Spence.
We discussed when we did have an emergency, making sure that our employees were fed here. And we talked about, trying to get, and this was actually one of David's Amaranth's ideas, to hire someone to cater for them, put out some bids, see if we could get catering. We also talked a little bit about possibly dealing with the sheriff's department and seeing if there was anything that they could do to help provide the meals, because they gotta cook anyway. I mean, we could get somebody to cook, but what if they didn't have a generator? What if it was around a power for 5 days, you couldn't get around? The jail has to feed their people. So it would be a good way to try to work with them. They would, make a little money. It would be a pretty guaranteed thing, because they've got to see.
Yeah, and the only thing to add to that would be recommendation from HGA was that we possibly get a secondary group of people to come in from out of state because of something regionally was devastating to the area, and you can pull people from outside the area to drive in, if they were 4 states away. So it'll give us some options to take care of our employees during the time of need.
So what would you do? Would you have to find somebody, you get bids, find somebody and contract with them for that? Or you just, they give you a list of vendors to call to set up? I mean, is it something that we have to do ahead of time? We have to get them on the list and guarantee that they will be here? Because if I'm if I'm gonna provide this service, I wanna know for sure they're gonna be here.
Yes.
Is that what?
And that's what we're asking for is,
Okay.
you know, is to pursue that, whether it be locally would be our first tier, and then second tier would be someone from out of state or a region away, to fill in that gap to feed our employees as needed.
Because some kids have never come on.
Right.
Well, in some cases, they could also, they could be out a week or two. I mean, they could put out.
We got one generator that don't work out the jail. So we borrowed one from DCI, there's an April storm. So we could probably have to line up to get a generator put there if they will do school.
Well, they gotta cook for themselves,
Yeah.
so that doesn't much matter, and what we're talking about is just our employees, our essential employees that are on call, that are working, so that they have a meal, they have breakfast, they have lunch, they have dinner.
How would you do that with the jail?
Yes, so.
That's not. We have constituents in the past, take food to the jail, done the, run bill, you have a kitchen on wheels, feed, and they get the jail itself.
So in that case, would the sheriff's office share the burden of the cost on that, or is it something so? No, it's just a question.
It's like,
That's something you
I do
have
know
to discuss.
something about this, what y'all will listen to. You know, we're talking about bringing somebody from another state. I know what they get paid, I know how you get paid, and we're not ready for that, don't even think about it. You got people locally, right here in this town, or within a 50-mile radius that you can, you just got to give them, say, look, we're willing to, what are you willing to do this for? This is what we're willing, and I can tell you, minimum about $50, $75 a deal, a day, you know, so. You gotta do a little investigating first. But you got somebody, there's somebody, more than probably one, in this town that do that. And all you guys say, look, this, can you provide? I mean, years back, the old Homeland Security guy tried to get me to sign up with him for that very reason, but I was already signed up with a bigger company for a larger number. So, the people are available, all you gotta do is just ask.
and we'll volunteer out.
And going out and calling, you know, they got, I can tell you many names of big companies you call, but they get paid from the time you call, they get on the road, they got 2 people, 5 people, 10 people, and I can just tell you, East West Shannon.
In the past, I mentioned some of the West Justice in the past, in the past, for the devil free employees, put it in jail.
And then the other thing, when you, if you don't, you move into that, so you're gonna go for reimbursement from FEMA, and then you done brought in the jail, you piecemeal it, just, it's not a good.
So we're saying FEMA will
Yes,
reimburse.
this man's over here at Carter, he knows exactly what I'm talking about, you know?
And see, that's what that was gonna be my question, how you split that?
Yeah,
How do you-
don't work.
Because we supply the jail already, so when we start, they start cooking for some now.
Well,
They
okay.
charging us back.
So the jail may not be a good option, but what we're asking for is, can we get the okay, and what David, I think, is really asking for, the okay to go ahead and
pursue
pursue it, search out, find whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You know,
something, I
and
think, yeah.
it may be that one place does breakfast, one does lunch, one does dinner, it's just gonna depend on
I feel
cost.
like we should, everybody should.
Yeah.
You need to pay, they provide meals for the jail, they pay that.
Like, Jennifer,
Yeah,
I'm glad
it
we
does
brought it
provide
to
It's a
the-
good
But
idea.
the problem is, if we're out of power for 2 weeks,
Right.
people start running out of stuff locally. And they start running out of gas, they start running out of all the things you need to keep things running. That's why the decision was made to look outside as level 2. First of all, local,
We're in first and FEMA, I mean,
and
that's not.
outside number 2.
First of all, that's kind of advising that more investigating.
Yeah. I would like to look some more into it. and see
Yeah, I
what's
mean,
I think it's a good
right.
idea.
So
It's a good idea, though.
Look, I got 3 generators that since I've retired, I had everything known to man to feed 1,000 people at one time. I can do that. I got documentation.
Well, we're sorry we can't use you, but we're
I'm
on.
retired. I'm just-
Hey, y'all talking about
do is keep up with a list of what we use, and FEMA will reimburse us. We take pictures of all our supplies, and we keep that, because we have our members do the cooking. And you can turn that into FEMA for the jail cooking for us. Hey, here's everything we use, and they will reimburse you with no issues.
Well, if they can't do it, we still want to be
Right.
able to
Oh,
see
you
who
gotta
can
have
do it.
that.
And we need to get some
Yeah.
agreements on the front end rather than
Right.
in the middle of everything, when it's all.
Don't want to happen.
Tell everybody, there'll be more information than the What's that say?
I'm a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discuss take action on CEA, the town city over the most, as we saw government contract. We have health unit, we have tax staff, and everybody here. We have the most, we just do, it's very good. We have some funds, come on, we want to, the parking lot here, we want to include more. You can cobble it together with the town, and say,
So we gonna come all the way around, come down over here.
So there's, some additions that needs to be made to the cooperative endeavor. The town of Clinton, they did meet this week, so once we get that information, we'll get with, with Sam. So tonight you can table it unless the EA has something else.
Yeah, we have it prepared, is that what you were saying?
Yeah, we haven't prepared, but the town met and the mayor had some things that needed to be looked at and just told us on today. And they were fine with tabling it because I believe they don't want to start this project until September or October. Yeah, so.
I think we call Sam, we can get the town in.
What's the motion to say?
One second, while we hold the project up, the water, the first grant, now we get, they grant approval, get the parking, then they have to set, so I will build it. It's not, it's not.
To the mayor again.
Yeah, project, yeah, come hold up the water.
So, hopefully they approved it with changes, that will, have to wait until they.
We know we can reach the project, the parking lot, that's the water.
Yeah, motion.
Yeah.
Table just one question from the town. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, discuss take action on appointment to East Christian now on the committee. The sheriff made a recommendation to replace the chief with Chief Bill Cox. Took off the committee, the representative from East Point, the sheriff, appointed Chief Cox. I mean, the motion to take off and appoint Chief Cox. Motion by Ms. Dawes.
I'll second.
I'll say.
Second.
Any discussion? Question on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, discuss and take action on financial advisor proposal.
So, since the meeting, Mr. Amline and his staff, we have reached out or spoken to 6 different firms or CPAs. Of those 6, 3 declined, 3 submitted proposals. Out of those 3 proposals, 1 pulled the proposal. That left you with the 2 proposals that you had in your file.
Yeah, as you know, we are without a financial advisor, so on and so. Now, don't say one.
And
Just carry it out to you.
if you have any questions, feel free to ask right now. We are needing is to do, we need a new software. So that software needs to be implemented. We'll need to change software. Then we also need some policies, written, updated, budget amendments we need to have done. There's several other different things that we need to talk about at the budget workshop. Well, I think most of you already know the rest of the recommendation that you are not having from the staff. But we would like you all to please make a vote tonight, so we can
We don't have-
Yeah, I can
move forward.
make a motion.
Thank you, sir.
I'll make a motion, we accept all wait.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions from the audience? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Reverend, we got it from everybody. Okay, discuss and take action on voting on, we had a public hearing to discuss, getting over the FEMA guidelines. And there's no opposition from the public. Time just do now, it's got to be taken care of tonight. And we not on,
I make a motion that we accept, and Jeff will serve as our interim until we can decide, is that correct? That's my motion.
no discussion, questions from the audience? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Number seven, discuss take action on 6-month mandatory subject, Mr. Richard Allen.
Okay, I talked to David about this, we mentioned it last meeting. This has nothing to do with anybody that's got their own land, building their home. This is to, and not necessarily a moratorium, but a pause to get all the ordinances straight. The planning and zoning is working on lot sizes, and I just don't think they got enough time to get, everything needs to be looked at, because East Feliciana is just like it, we a change in times. And so we got, like I've done said, it's 180 lots roughly in my area that's gonna come online in the next year and a half. And there's other properties over there. And so I'm just asking that we just take a step back, look at everything and make sure everybody's happy. And that's all. And then whether you say a pause or moratorium, I don't think 6 months is enough. I think probably needs to be a year. And so that's my recommendation.
What do we have going on right now, Senator? Anything in the middle of being done that would interfere, because I hate to do this and interfere with somebody else that's already got something.
I don't know of any,
Go on.
I mean, we already got 3 working. We got 3 working, but it's other things that's, it's not my business, and I don't know it all, but it's stuff's fixing to happen over in this area, it's relation to East Feliciana Parish, that's gonna bring a lot of people in, and we have the land, we have it. And so, my concern, like I said before, is that every time it's a house built over there by me, or in my district, the people go to Zachary to buy their groceries, or they go to St. Francis. They're not driving over here. They don't buy their gas in East Feliciana Parish. A few go up the road to the railroad tracks and get a little bit there. But the money's not being spent, so we need to slow down, let everything catch up, and maybe there's talk of not necessarily a truck stop, but a lumber business that would bring in a little tax dollar, but, and I'll say this again, is that our garbage is paid by sales tax. And so the people over here, the businesses over here is paying. And just rough figuring in my mind, I think if you don't buy a new car, somebody in the household's gotta do it, every couple of years, 1.5 foot cars to even out with your tax to pay for picking up your trash. So that's my suggestion.
It's only for subdivision.
Only for new large subdivisions. give them time. Josh, is that
Yeah,
a
but we
fair
just
statement?
have
You
to
give
do
them
this in
time?
writing. I mean, you can say that with a word of mouth, but you need to have something backed up, and you need to have proof of all this if you're gonna do this. Planning and zoning is working on some things now, you just give them time. I mean, we've been working on our ordinance for a couple of months now.
Doing a moratorium encompasses a
Your
lot.
name, please.
Joshua Oakley, Chairman, Planning and Zoning. All right.
Let's call it.
Usually I'm sitting here and people realize that.
And you would be in the month or
But, so, there's advantages to moratoriums, there are. It ceases everything. I think if you decide to cease only major subdivisions, we'll solve part of the problem. I don't think we're gonna solve a lot of the problem. A lot of our problems are coming into the way some other properties are divided, as well. There's a lot of those little things that are coming into. It really comes down to a choice. There's nothing that I'm aware of that's gonna be affected immediately right now. But you may have somebody standing there with something getting ready to turn in this next meeting as well. I'm not a fan of moratoriums particularly. I've seen financial damage from them personally years ago. But it does serve a purpose to clean up some things at the time. It gives some time to clean up. Most everybody knows that we went and met with engineers last week, so we're working through some stuff that we're gonna try to be able to present in our next meeting to clean up some ordinances, to tighten up some stuff. We have to remember with developments, even if we go with, and we are gonna make a recommendation for the 2 acre movement this time, but, but nothing is a fix-all, nothing that we do. You can come in and, especially over in your area, if somebody comes in and wants to put a big enough subdivision and offers concessions to be able to do smaller lots, if they come in and say, hey, we're gonna build a school, or we're gonna do this or do that, everybody sitting here is gonna be willing to go to smaller lots to get the value from it, you know? So, there's no fix-all. Chipping away at it, I think, a little quicker is better, but certain moratorium does give us more time. So I'm really kind of, honestly, it's one side or the other. I personally am not a fan of moratoriums as far as that goes, just for a lot of reasons. But it does serve its advantages right now.
Look, then it comes down to price. Is a moratorium really needed right now?
We don't know what's coming down. It can be, that's the thing. I spoke with somebody just a few minutes ago. We can say, hey, no, let's vote against it, but you don't know. Tomorrow, somebody might step in the door and have a big one coming in. So you don't know. I mean,
So this moratorium will be just against major
Major,
subdivisions and not against personal.
not against nobody
Because
personally.
I don't want to stop some
No,
individual
has
from
nothing
doing
to
it.
do
That's what I was saying.
You got
Do
your
we have
land, you
anything in
ready to
writing
get a
saying that?
No, that's what this moratorium will take care of that.
We got Mr. Yeah, we legally say moratorium.
If y'all wanna just put a hold on it, put a pause on it for a couple of months, I think it might be the best thing to do, is to get everybody on the same page.
I will. I have been working on, in that area with the builders, people coming and doing stuff. Nothing broke down, but, you know, I have been asking for school, all kinds of things. But till we tighten stuff up, people ain't getting nothing. Yeah.
and I mean, tightening up, the most extreme will be the 2 acre deal. Because that'll knock a bunch of stuff back. But there's some other stuff, and look, we went and sat with the engineers. The overall overview is we don't have bad ordinances. We have some open loopholes that are letting some things in that just need to be closed. I mean, Dexter, if he wants to take up and speak, but I mean, we're not looking at major remodeling of ordinances. We're looking at taking a few things that we have going on, moving some things around where it cleans up what's able to be done very easily. You know, it's very easily right now, you can go in and develop property in Solution Parish with very little oversight and be in those things. But, and that's all things we're talking about, I mean, but a moratorium would give more time. It would give, it's not, it's a moratorium, it's a moratorium.
Yeah, but
I mean,
same here.
it's a dead stop, you know, so I mean, but,
So do we have to have, a public hearing on it? Do we have to have any of that, or can we just vote tonight, saying we can just vote to put in a moratorium
The six months.
for 6 months? I make that
Do
motion.
we have to, I guess, distinguish what you consider a large subdivision?
Yeah.
We're saying a large subdivision,
Yes.
so what constitutes a large subdivision?
Just move into the. Thank you, anything?
I'm Jeff Moody, local surveyor. Whether y'all do a moratorium or not, I'm not even here to speak for or against. What I am here is to caution y'all. And I understand, Mr. Aldo, y'all using terms large, major. Your ordinance has no language like that at all. Now, most other jurisdictions do. Here's what a major subdivision is. They define it. Minor subdivision, they define it. The only definition in our ordinance is about a subdivision, is taking a piece of property and cutting it into two pieces, or consolidating it. So if you're gonna put a moratorium on it, and other parishes have tried to do this, and it needs to have specificity, but I'm telling you, your ordinance don't address that at all. And I would say 95% of the subdivisions, subdivided property in this parish, is under the 9 exceptions in our ordinance. So you're gonna have to be real specific on what the moratorium is, and you can't
That's
use
what I was
language,
trying to
there's no
get
legal,
to.
there's no
You got
legal
to
language,
have-
you can't say, oh, Lord,
You gotta have your
you
literature right.
can cite the section number and whatnot, where it starts talking about the process to do what y'all are calling large subdivisions, like Hidden Point or Balmoral or things like that. But I'm just telling you, I mean, say I'm the legal guy in here, but if you use terms like we're gonna put a moratorium on lords, and then you try to start defining what that is here, you're not citing an ordinance saying, this is what we mean by major or minor. So I'm just saying, as far as clarity, you're gonna have to be real careful on what you do, because more than likely, you're gonna be challenged in court, no matter what you do. But if your language is wrong on the moratorium and you're challenged, you're gonna lose in court, because they're gonna say, you're talking about large subdivisions. And like, for example, on the exceptions, the 9 exceptions, we talked about this before. Right now, you have to have 100-foot road frontage, and as you know, down there in Linwood, you got 2,000 foot of frontage, and I got all the frontage on that thing, well, that's whatever, 20 lots. There's no limits on that. So y'all would say, well, that's 20 subdivisions. I mean, 20 lots, you know, that's a large subdivision. I'm just saying, there's no language in your ordinance about what that is. And I'm sure Josh and them are probably working on that. You ain't looking at 2 months. In the last 10 years, there's about 3 different sets of revisions on the ordinance where we go into detail about minor, major, and all those things. So anyhow, you just need to be careful on the clarity and the specificity of what your moratorium is on, and you can't use language in whatever y'all pass saying large and major, because that does not exist in your ordinance. So you just need to be aware of that.
Thank you.
It's-
What's the pleasure of the board?
it's gonna be very hard, and we had that discussion the other day, to see the difference between, we have a subdivision ordinance, and those exceptions, like Mr. Moody said, are what allow some of these small ones to happen. So if you do a moratorium on subdivisions, it's gonna cut out even the small ones. So that's, whether it's good or bad, it gives more time, but
What y'all are
it's
addressing
really,
right
really
now,
open.
what y'all are addressing, I'm saying, zoning, can y'all address it to fix what he's talking about?
It is.
To drop it?
It is.
Not to interrupt you, but if you're gonna do your moratorium, you need to address the 9 exceptions and say, the 9 exceptions are included in this moratorium, or the 9 exceptions are excluded. I mean, you need to really tie it down tight what you're trying to do.
Really, they haven't seen another step.
Yeah, and I wouldn't really get confused. I would just say, hey, we want to make a motion to, pause major subdivisions in East Feliciana Parish for 6 months. Don't get all off in the weeds and talks about these 9 exceptions. It's my understanding you want to just stop the major subdivisions from coming in right now. Is that right? So just make a motion, say we wanna put a pause on the major subdivisions that are coming in right
Well,
now.
I've got a question on that.
You
What's the
gotta
major
define major.
subdivision?
You gotta define major.
After so many lots.
What's not in the ordinance now?
Well, it's a major subdivision, I mean.
Based on what?
I would just say that's what you need to do, is just make a motion saying that, and we can address it in the future.
Well, when I start getting phone calls and surveys, say, I have no clue what their moratorium's on, because it's major. And other than exception, I'm just asking, Sam, I'm not trying to go
And
against.
if you wanna do, I would put a number on it, I would say anything over than 10 lots, or 20 lots, or something like that. You know, you get somebody that's gonna start dividing pieces of property out there, and they're gonna put 50 lots on 30 acres, I mean, do you want that? I mean, you're gonna have to make a lot of hard decisions in the future pretty soon, so planning and zoning are working on some of that right now. You wanna just put a moratorium on any subdivisions of land over a certain amount of lots.
And can you do that legally, just in this meeting, when it's not even in the ordinance, and not going through public hearing to amend your ordinance to say, here's a limit on 10?
How many lots go on a lane?
Meaning, can be on a servitude,
Four, I would say anything over 4 lots.
Unless it's family petition, then y'all have unlimited. Y'all let 10, 20 go on that.
I would still say anything over 4.
Or are we gonna
I think
include
we-
family partition? Talking about family partition.
And the next time,
We didn't say family petition, we said.
But,
subdivision.
but it is a subdivision ordinance, and that's one of the exceptions.
Anything of the Bible, that next week, because we have no understanding of what's going on
But,
We're more confused now than what.
but y'all keep in mind that we do have our ordinances here, and then everything lines, I mean, we went through them thoroughly the other day. Everything lines below subdivision ordinance, or the subdivision ordinance, and then it breaks down below it. Family partition, everything sits
How
on
long before your ordinances are out?
Able.
April?
No, able to be, no.
Oh.
Able to be presented
Yeah, pretty quickly.
pretty quickly.
Like in the next couple of weeks?
Yes.
Yes, you can do it because it's that far along, it's that far along.
For our next meeting? For our next
2
meeting?
weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope to be able to take something and open a public hearing to be able to get ready to
We're
present
thinking
something
about
to
it
y'all.
till the meeting.
Sir?
Thinking about it, till you can make something.
Yes.
I rescind my
We'll
motion.
look into
I make a motion, we take
Take.
it.
two more.
Second.
More discussion. Wait for the order. All in favor? Opposed? Yes, sir.
I think everybody here, I think Parish has been accountable. Everybody here knows that, the Central Parish is getting packed right now. Perryville, all of them down there. Livingston Parish, they're getting packed.
Take your name, take your name.
Jim McKay. Don't tell me about it. So, what I'm saying is, they're getting packed,
You're coming this way.
It seems like the only way they can go now is up here, and if you want to develop, you need more taxes, let me say, for example. The best, I've been to several business development meetings. Well, it's the first time I came to a speech like this, I don't mean to. I'm letting you know, if you want more taxes here, and more people will come here to live, then you're gonna have more businesses that will develop too around those people, then you will gain more here. If you don't want no more people here, then that's the way to do it, stop everything from building. But otherwise, I believe good enough alone, like you said, will cover, you know? So the more people you got coming up here, decent people building decent houses, like he was saying a while ago, the better off you're gonna be for the parish. Everybody's gonna be better off for that.
Only if they're spending money.
Stay with it. Thank you.
I need to ask Mr. Peterson, how many, I know I was on planning and zoning, and it's done been 2 or 3 revisions of the ordinances that never got voted on, am I not correct?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, it's probably
I
three,
know
over
y'all
about a
worked on
10-year
one
period.
For a long period of time.
Yeah, so if they can get something today, hallelujah, praise the Lord, we've been working on it for 10 years.
That's my point. I know it's got to be things on there that needs to be cleaned up.
You know what, if we had the full 55-page document, we can go into the general report and the city council report.
So anyway.
Well, I'm in place. We take that. We got a motion, a lot of favor? It's going to be discussed, take action, $2,500 per person, the greatest income. Every week, $25,000.
So, no,
Oh, wait, do we have any extra monies we could give?
And see, but we got some way to give it.
I mean, because you're talking about helping poor people. That, food bank does a lot of
A lot of
people.
people is paying.
And $2,500 is not a lot. I know we're not East Baton Rouge, but they're set to go for like 13 or 14 million dollars.
I will say that the parish does help out a lot too, besides this, the $2,500, we do have employees that go pick up food from the food bank and things. I know that's still, I mean, we can always do more if we can, but I just wanna remind
We
you
use
all
our
of
people
that
to
too.
stuff up.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we are, yeah.
Okay, motion.
I got a motion.
Seven.
Any discussion? Please, no, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On the list, requested level of capital, order and maintenance of 2017 Eastern Road. As you know, we stole every Mr. Green, we stole his own. And we got it talking about it tomorrow. We stole very much his own. He asking for a hardship waiver to live in a mobile home, capital, he says,
Okay, we contacted. I make a motion, we give them one.
How many times do you use it?
We just did that shit. I make a motion, we give them 1 year.
Mr. Green, if you have not sufficed, you come back in here and request more time.
In 1 year.
Discussion order. All in favor?
Aye.
You opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Approved payment to Brock workers in the amount of $13,280 for staff appreciation job and confirmation from the CDO. That's the work on the courthouse.
Correct.
So it was, approved previously by the jury for, I think, about 11,000. There was some, for all that, so 1,500, because it had to go before the full jury for the 11, didn't wanna do anything in 13, so we brought that to the jury to approve the amendment.
I make a motion.
And Mr. Williams will make sure that everything is done before that money is.
For we pay.
Alright.
Right, Mr. Williams?
Correct.
Got a motion, say all in favor?
Aye.
Committee staff, with that committee, I don't have any. What's that committee? That's quick, okay.
Your last item in your packet is the parish manager's job description. It took us an unbelievably long time to work through this, but we changed the format. We really took the old job description and put some better language in there. There's not really any changes, other than we tried to modernize it a little bit. And Keith and Kristen were on that committee. If you guys have anything to say, or anybody have any questions?
I would like to state that every year, we put on, this change, we make a motion to approve it and make it. Cause all duties have been. Is that fair enough?
It's fair.
Motion to table, our next meeting, and then we see on the change. Each year, overall, on this difference. The changes you made, we will change.
And I am gonna ask Clark and Winkler to talk with us as we start doing the treasurer and the finance people.
We will.
Gonna ask them to come, to a meeting and help us get the different jobs put in the right places, so we know who's doing what's supposed to do what, and we divide it appropriately. And we'll use the same format, which is just like Brandon rules.
Please, 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 we'll get the kids out next week. Next time we get them, next time we get them,
Okay.
thank you, Ms. Carson.
I'd like to make a motion to approve of invoices.
Second.
Thank you, all. All in favor? Any opposed? Anything else, Mr. King?
Yes, sir.
Public works equipment, Mr. Devin McCray.
I don't have anything, just let everybody know that, overlay project is on the way. I think they got started. Basically.
I wanted to ask, Midway just said to one of the first ones, and that was the greatest place. And I don't think they wanna do Midway right now because it's gonna mess up whatever they fix, when they go to fix the bridge, so do you think we can figure out when they get the bridge fixed, so that they can get over
And
there?
answer that.
Yeah, engineers who make the project, try to get it done quick as possible.
Have they started laying asphalt in the road? Because Midway's supposed to be.
Yeah, but you take the bridge right up, you want to move forward.
That's what I was saying, and there's no point in overlaying it if the bridge is.
Anyway, but I mean, if we're not going over that, I need to know something.
We go over that, we are going
It's
over
gonna be
that.
done.
It's gonna be done.
No, we didn't even finish. I mean, I done told everybody that, and it's on the list to be the first
So
one,
right now, it's going to talk.
you know.
I
Look, I rode there today, I doubled in, doubled out.
They have
I will
started
reach-
making some repairs on the Ballard Road, but like I said, no overlay has been started on my area.
All the equipment is out on our road.
I'll
That's
call
what I said,
State
yeah,
tomorrow to
move it.
see if we can get the bridge.
Yeah, I'll reach out to TEC, we had someone in the office today that had some questions about Pine Street and whether it's wood, whether it's inside the city limits. So we are speaking with, Bianca and PEC. Today was out of the office for the rest of the week, but I will take care of it tomorrow and I'll.
Mr. Foster called his day about that, and that Pine Street is in Lakeshore, and that's gonna be a little piece that Mr. Cheatham has in Lakeshore, and the rest of it is in my district.
And I believe the pines that they were at were on, they were on.
They were over in
So
town
it
there.
is in Lake
It's in
Shore.
Lakeshore, I clarified that today, I called him today.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, Mr. McCray?
That's it, thank you, sir.
Building property, Mr. Richard Oliver. Ms.
I will also reach out to Falk and Winkler on tomorrow and see if we can get them in the office this week to start working on.
Anything else, Mr. McCray?
that.
Treasury, treasury report. On the security, down here.
I mean, we come out pretty good on Hurricane Beryl. They kept moving and moving and moving because a lot of Indians gone. We don't have the wind shear and all out there, and it come up on the west side of Louisiana, and it pretty much damaged everything all the way up to the state on this hurricane that come through. If it would've come here, we'd have had some serious damage. We've already had the two storms and the one other one that come through that did a lot of damage. So we've come out pretty good on this, but, just to give you an idea, one lady, a young mom with a baby was killed. The baby lived, but the mama didn't, so the Logan Parish. And a lot of other people trapped, hurt, all pretty, bad on there. But Logan, up there, had the worst damage in the state. The April and May storm debris is burnt. I thought we'd go step today and inform them. We had to spread the ash out because we're still using it on the Redwood Creek project. And they're down to 412 on that project. project right now, and they should be wrapping it up by the end of August, having everything burnt and everything. We got some debris on 956, 412. They're gonna be trying to get out today. They have some personnel quit with the company, so they're gonna probably wind up with another contractor hauling debris over to Burlington. But if you haven't been there, hey, come by and look at it, you'll see how much debris has been burned. We got a pile about the biggest of this building right here of just ash and dirt, okay, that we pulled out. From the laydown yard, what we've had since Hurricane Ida right now, we're right at 18,000 cubic yards, which is about $93,000 we spent. So tomorrow, probably our last day, we'll have a bunch of it, but we won't be able to get all of it. We'll reach the 100,000 count. Because we found more that was, if you ever been there on the left-hand side, that we thought was just tall grass, it was debris back in there too. But we thought all the debris was toward the front except for the chip stuff. So,
The good is the $100,000 shot.
yeah, so we'll probably reach it tomorrow on that.
We have received invoices for about 86 and it'll.
Yeah, 86, 122, 58.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we should wrap it up tomorrow. We did 8 loads today. It's 176 yard trucks we're hauling out. And they have a little bit back toward, 956, they have to go to on the Redwood Creek project, which they're gonna have to track it about 4.5 to 5 miles out to be able to get to a spot to pull it out of that creek. But we're just about wrapped up on the, once we finish with all this stuff being burnt, we gotta go spread the ash out, the dirt. Hey, we're gonna have to sort it out to get the sticks out of it, and we're gonna bring the dirt back to the laydown yard on the south side. So DPW have a whole bunch of dirt to be able to use on projects where we have to put it in, on areas, on the side of the road, the shoulders. It's good dirt to use on that. It's gonna be no cost from us for the dirt.
If we bring it to the laydown yard is not where the site is,
No, everything that we're picking up is going straight to, Dr. Hayes' place is 9901, is where the wooden picket fence is. It goes straight back there, we unload it, and it goes right on the burn pile.
so that we're not putting the
Nothing
dirt,
goes.
when we bring it back,
No.
we're not putting it on
No,
the super
nothing.
fund site.
No, nothing goes there. We put a couple truckloads there that when we got so wet, we couldn't get in there. Rather stop the Redwood Creek project, we stored it there and they picked it up today and put it on the pile and it's pretty much gone right now. Yeah, but no,
Nothing's on the super fund site.
nothing's on it. The only thing that's on it right now is what we're hauling out.
Anything else?
That's
Okay,
it.
other questions?
And we have some comment on, I got a couple here that like to make a comment.
Okay, please.
My name is Bill Sharp, I'm with Rock Lane in Ethel, and what I'm here to do is ask some help. We had several trees that blew down in the previous storm, and the root ball, or some of this far from the tree, from the street. They're a hazard, somebody went into them, get killed. And we have 2 like that, we have a third one that is facing the other way. Anyway, I talked to the contractor 2 weeks ago that came through our area picking up stuff. He assured me we're gonna go to the end of the road, we'll come back, cut these and move them. Of course, I found out today they no longer are here, so they did not get picked up. They're an extreme hazard, people going down the road, especially no narrow road, no shoulders at nighttime. Also, there's another place that's pretty close to all the same situation. We have a limb that broke off the top, probably 80 foot tall, and it's hanging up there right now, waiting for it to fall, hopefully not anybody. That's been brought to the attention of the police bureau maintenance recently, but it's eyesore, and We have pictures here, if you wanna look at them on the last iPad, to show you the three areas plus the hanging portion that we need to take care of, to check out here.
All that is on that lane?
Right there on Greenbrier between
On 955.
955, yeah, about the first quarter
Which
mile.
never addressed that, no problem.
No, I'm
Off
saying
of
off-
55. No, that's off of
Off of
55.
Greenbrier, right out of 955.
Mr. Pettiford,
There's, yes, but Greenbrier Lane and Black.
Mr. Pettiford.
Yeah.
Cuts off,
Cause the limb that's hanging right there, that's one we never even seen on it. When we went through, everything was still green. When you showed the picture of it, I said, yeah.
why didn't you pick up root ball?
They don't really do root balls unless they're in the road. We had to do one on Hockaday that was actually in the road. There was no way, it wasn't in the ditch. It wasn't off, you gotta run off the road to hit them. But we had to get one off of Hockaday that was actually physically, and it was this side of the ditch. You go down Hockaday, it was one of the first, root balls on the left.
Well, I'm sure it's plugging the ditch up, if it's not in the roadway anyway, right?
It's not the roadway, just a very little bit, very little bit. And
If
of
you
course,
keep
is
your
it- is it-
tires
is
on
it-
the road, you could hit it with
Is it,
your car.
is it really big, a really big root ball, or is it
yeah,
something our machines can handle?
yeah.
You wanna see pictures?
That's the problem, our machines are probably not able
Well,
to.
Mr. Evans, in the process of getting this, the one that was taking this,
You all want, Ross to go check it out?
Yeah.
From Alex. Do you have the information, Ms.
I
Kelsey?
believe they already did, go out and check it out, but it was the problem with the.
can we contact them,
Good, every tree,
Would appreciate any help we can get. Thank you so much for that.
Any more public comment?
Thank you.
I mean, I raised my hand earlier, but Kelsey Skills, Department of Public Works. I gave y'all a packet of a quote for the boom for one of our tractors. So in order to, in order to, if we wanted to take the boom off the old tractor and put it onto the tractor that's broken, it would be $30,000. Versus just fixing the one that we have, which was 19.
Let's put the new one on.
Repairing the
Oh,
one.
just, okay, repair.
Is this one of the new tractors?
Well, it's not new, but it's not old.
There's no description of what tractor it is.
I just was curious if we maybe would get another quote. It seemed expensive to me, I don't know. I see a list of hardware, nuts, bolts, and things, seals. But I just would be curious to see if maybe we could get an independent shop, someone that's not the dealer, but yet is reputable. And could give us a quote on the same work.
The labor is the biggest part of it. We don't have a machine now, we have one.
We got most of the tractors are down to just one in operation right now.
We can't just go all the time, pick the first quote that we get, I say we get at least one of those quotes.
What is your recommendation, Mr. Burke?
Well, the grass is still growing, we need to go and get that tractor fixed. I mean, you got grass in Paris, taller than the stop sign.
But my question is, we bought two new, did we not? Okay. Not count the little smaller tractor. So this is one of those tractors?
I don't know exactly, because they didn't say.
And then we got an old John Deere that's so faithful, I guess. And so we have four, clippers, clippers.
We're working there for one.
We just got one working right now.
So we got three down.
Well, could we just ask her to get some other prices, and if she got a lower price, okay, then we go with the lower price? I mean, maybe there won't won't be, and we can just say,
Well, who you gonna call, that's the thing, who you gonna reach out to get, and how long are we gonna keep it in? I think it's a lot of money, but we got lease a tractor, rent a tractor, or fix a tractor, one of them.
It's just the move.
Yeah.
I'll go speak with Charles tomorrow,
Yeah.
and we'll try to come up with a solution. Possibly, we may need to go ahead and lease a tractor.
So do you just want more quotes, like put on the August
Oh,
agenda,
yeah.
unless you find someone that's paying out that
well,
way.
I mean, I'm not saying you need to wait and get another quote, I mean, wait to the next meeting to approve it. I'm saying if you got a lower one, go with it. You know, get something that was lower, or, and if you couldn't, spend a day or two looking.
Leasing one, if we can't get us by until we get one going.
Can we do anything today, since this is in public comment?
So then you tell them to talk to us.
Mr. Jason, I'll give you two, I'll follow up there, we agree with you talking about it, I've got no problem saying I was waiting, if it helps at all.
Any more public comment? And then the ones who are against it, and then the ones who are saying it,
I make a motion.
Anybody have ordinances about
Every day we got anywhere 15 miles an hour there. All that is